The hallway lights flickered as I stepped forward. A faint hum echoed through the corner of the room. The air felt colder than before. My fingertips brushed against the wall, searching for balance. I could still picture your smile. Soft, warm, bright enough to cut through any silence. Yet now, the memory twisted itself into something unfamiliar. I heard your voice behind me. Calm, gentle, too gentle, so gentle that it made the hairs on my neck rise. I knew you would come back, the voice said. My breath froze. I slowly turned. The room stretched unnaturally, as if the shadows had grown longer on purpose. A sharp scent of dust and cold stone filled my lungs. There you were, standing beside the broken window. Your silhouette perfectly still, your hair drifting in a breeze that I could not feel. Your smile glowed in the dim light. The same smile that once felt safe. Now it felt wrong. Too wide, too steady, too knowing. My heartbeat slammed against my ribs. A ringing sound spread through my ears. My legs felt weaker with every step you took toward me. I tried to speak. My lips parted, but no sound came out. Your eyes watched me without blinking. As if you were studying every movement. As if you were waiting for something. You look different, you whispered. Your tone was soft, but it scraped at my nerves. The floor creaked behind me. A slow, heavy creak. As if someone else had stepped into the room. I turned slightly, but the room behind me was empty. Only darkness. Only silence. Then your smile widened again. Slowly, deliberately, almost as if it wanted to stretch beyond your face. My throat tightened. The walls felt closer. The air felt thinner. You left me, you said. Your voice trembled, but your expression did not. I stepped back. The cold from the wall seeped through my clothes. My skin crawled with the sensation that someone was standing directly behind me. I dared not turn. I focused only on you. Your glowing smile. Your unmoving body. Your shadow stretched across the floor. But the direction of the light did not match it. The shadow moved on its own. Slow. Crawling. Reaching toward my feet. My pulse thundered. Sweat slid down the back of my neck. I pressed my hand against my chest, trying to steady my breathing. You stepped closer. Your voice dropped to a whisper. Why did you forget me? My knees weakened. The room spun. The cold behind me grew sharper, almost like a presence leaning close enough to breathe against my ear. I squeezed my eyes shut for a moment. When I opened them again, you were inches away. Your smile never faded, but your eyes were different now. Dark, deep, empty, and in that hollow darkness, something shifted. Something living. Something waiting. Your eyes remained fixed on mine. Unblinking. Wide. Too steady to feel human. The hollow darkness inside them grew deeper, as if it wished to swallow the faint light around us. I felt a faint vibration under my feet. A tremor that pulsed through the wooden floorboards. It ran up my legs and settled in my spine, leaving a strange cold numbness behind. My breath turned shallow. My chest tightened with each inhale. You lifted your hand. Slow, measured, as if you were testing the weight of the air itself. Your fingers curled slightly, like they were pulling invisible strings. The room responded. The corners darkened. The shadows thickened into shapes that pressed against the walls. The air became heavy, almost dense enough to touch. You walked away from me, you whispered. Your voice was soft, but it spread through the room like a cold wave. Every word struck my skin with a sting, as if the sound itself had temperature. I tried to step back, but my body refused to obey. My muscles locked. My arms stiffened at my sides. My throat felt tight, but I forced a breath. Through. I did not leave you, I said. The words felt thin and fragile the moment they left my mouth. You tilted your head slightly. The movement was small, but it seemed unnatural. Too smooth, too precise, like a puppet turning on a string. Your smile slowly stretched again. The edges of your lips sharpened. The expression grew larger than it should, wider than a face should allow. You forgot me, you said. This time your voice trembled. Not with sadness, but with something sharper, something like hunger. A gust of cold air rushed past my ear. It felt like someone had leaned close enough to whisper, yet no sound followed. The cold brushed the side of my neck, and a shiver traveled down my spine. I forced myself to turn slightly. The shadows behind me rippled as if something had moved within them. The space seemed too deep, too stretched, too hollow. The darkness pulsed like a slow, breathing creature. My heartbeat thudded against my ribs. Every sound became louder. The hum of the broken lights. The distant creak of the building settling. The faint whisper of wind against the cracked window. All of it wrapped around me until I could barely hear my own thoughts. I looked back at you. You stood perfectly still. The breeze that moved your hair did not touch my skin. The light that fell on your face did not warm the air. Your smile had frozen in place, but your eyes kept shifting. Slight movements, quick and sharp, as if they were following something inside my skull instead of following me. You promised you would return, you said. Your voice echoed strangely, as if the walls repeated every syllable. The sound grew deeper with each word, as though another voice spoke underneath it. My hands trembled. I pressed them against the cold wall behind me. The rough surface scraped against my palms. I needed the pain to keep myself focused. I came back, I said. My voice cracked. The tension in my chest tightened further. My pulse hammered in my ears. You took another step forward. Your shadow stretched behind you like a long-reaching arm. But the shadow did not match the shape of your body. It moved differently. It dragged itself along the floor like something alive. You came back too late, you replied. The lights above us flickered again. Once, twice. Then they steadied, but the room felt darker. As if the light had grown tired of fighting the shadows. I swallowed hard. My throat felt dry. My tongue felt heavy. A faint metallic taste spread across my mouth. Fear had its own flavor, sharp and cold. You raised your hand again. This time your fingers opened, as if you were offering something invisible. The air around your palm shimmered slightly, like heat above a flame. But the temperature dropped so quickly that my breath turned into a mist. A low sound emerged from the floor. A slow, deep groan. The wood bowed slightly beneath your feet, as if something pressed upward from below. The vibrations intensified, shaking dust from the ceiling. You watched me with an unsettling calm. Your smile remained frozen, but your eyes glowed faintly now. A dull, unnatural light that pulsed in rhythm with the tremors under my feet. I waited here, you said. The words felt heavier than before. Each syllable carried a cold weight that landed in my chest. You left me alone, you added. Your voice cracked at the end. Not with emotion, with something harsher, as if the sound had torn through something inside you. I pushed against the wall, trying to steady myself. The tremor grew stronger. The floorboards lifted slightly beneath my shoes. A thin line of darkness cracked through the wood, stretching toward me. You stepped closer. Your shadow followed the crack, crawling toward my feet with a hungry pull. My breath quickened. My hands grew numb. My legs felt rooted to the spot. You forgot my smile, you whispered. The cold presence behind me pressed harder. It felt like a hand against my back. Not warm, not human. A pressure that pushed me forward, closer to you. I tried to resist. My muscles strained. My teeth clenched. But the force behind me grew stronger. My body lurched forward a step. Your smile widened in approval. Your eyes darkened with a strange gleam. You belong here, you said. Your voice lowered into a tone that echoed through my bones. As long as you remember me. The shadows twisted across the floor. The crack widened beneath us. A hollow breath rose from the opening. Cold, damp, alive. Your hand reached toward me. Slow, inviting, deadly, and I felt the air shift. A shift that warned me that something far worse waited just beneath the surface. Your hand hovered a breath away from mine. Cold air wrapped around my fingers like a warning. The shadows trembled at our feet. The cracked floor pulsed with an invisible heartbeat. I felt the pull again. A slow, steady force that urged me toward you. It felt familiar. It felt wrong. It felt like the past calling me back. You watched me with that same glowing smile. Your eyes softened for the first time. A hint of something human flickered within them. Something fragile. Something lonely. I waited for you, you whispered. Your voice trembled with a quiet ache. I wanted you to see me again. My chest tightened. Not with fear this time. With understanding. You were not here to harm me. You were here because you were trapped. Held in the memory of a moment that never healed. bound to a smile that no longer belonged to the living. I stepped toward you, slow, careful. The cold pressed against my skin, but I kept going. Your eyes widened slightly, your smile softened, the darkness around you loosened its grip. I reached out my hand. My fingers brushed yours. The cold surged through me, but I did not pull away. I remember you, I said. The words felt warm in the frozen air. And I always will. A faint breath escaped your lips. Relief, grief, freedom. The shadows trembled. The crack beneath us stopped widening. The walls released a long, tired sigh, as if the entire room had taken its first breath in years. Your smile changed again. This time it held no sharpness, no hunger, only peace. Light gathered around your body, soft at first, then brighter. It lifted the shadows gently from your skin. It smoothed the dark lines beneath your feet. It warmed the air between us. You looked at me with clear, quiet eyes. The darkness inside them faded. You stepped back slowly. Light followed your movement like a protective veil. Thank you, you whispered. The words were fragile. They trembled with release. They trembled with gratitude. Your figure began to dissolve into the glow. First your hands, then your shoulders, then the gentle curve of your face. Your smile remained until the very last moment. Soft, warm, untroubled. The room fell silent. The light faded. The shadows shrank back to their natural shapes. The crack in the floor sealed with a faint whisper of dust. I stood alone. The air felt lighter. The cold slowly left the room. I looked toward the window. The wind slipped gently through the broken glass. It carried a sense of calm that had never existed here before. I closed my eyes for a moment. Your smile lingered in my thoughts. Not as something haunting, not as something twisted, but as something real, something free. I opened my eyes and stepped toward the door. The hallway lights glowed steadily now. No flicker, no tremor. I walked forward with a steady breath. The past no longer pulled at my feet. The shadows no longer stretched to hold my steps. Your smile stayed with me. Not as a fear, not as a burden, but as a memory, finally at rest. And as I left the old building behind, I understood one truth clearly. You were never lost. You were only waiting to be remembered. And now, at last, you were free.